What's going on, everybody? My name is Ray Galowski with RT Reptiles. This is Tango, my very first ball python. He's a pastel ball python. A little bit active right now. And this is my very first YouTube video. You know what? Honestly, I'm doing a YouTube video because I have a lot of people that I follow on YouTube, a lot of amazing breeders who have amazing, beautiful animals. You know what I mean? I just love what they're doing with their lives and with their snakes. And I kind of live by a motto that, like, if I want what others have, I need to do what others do, man. And them guys are doing YouTube videos to get themselves out to the world, man. And I don't want this to be something where I'm getting out the world to benefit me for monetary value or to make, you know what I mean, to sell more animals or whatever. But, like, what can I contribute to the world? What can I contribute to the hobby in this community as a whole, man? So hopefully, not hopefully, that's going to be my goal, kind of like going forward with this. So anyway, man, I've been keeping snakes for about 2 years. I actually started keeping snakes when I was younger, when I was a little kid. I was a kid always running around collecting like frogs and snakes and turtles and stuff like that. And when I was in 6th grade, I got a boa constrictor. We lived in New Jersey. And to tell you the truth, man, that snake, it didn't survive. I didn't do a good job. Not because I didn't want to, but honestly, back then, the information wasn't available to me, man. My dad got me this boa constrictor at this pet shop, and it was already 6 foot. And I built a tank and wood shop out of pine, which, you know what I mean, pine is not good for animals. No one told me that I needed a light. No one told me that I needed a heat. You know what I mean? That people at the pet shop said, well, just keep it warm. And I was like, well, I'm warm. I guess that's good enough. And the animal wouldn't eat, and I kept bringing it back to the pet shop, and they would keep it and try and figure out what's wrong with it, and they would get it to eat, and then say maybe it just has intestinal parasites, and they would give it back to me. And like, I never knew about humidity, about 90 degrees on one side, 80 degrees on the other side. They just said keep it warm. And I remember one time I put a heater in there and tried to keep it warm, and all it did was like dry the animal out, and it needed water. And you know, unfortunately, that snake ended up passing, and it broke my heart. And for a long time, I was terrified to ever get into animals and get into reptiles again, because I figured, like, why, they're not gonna make it. And I thought there was something wrong with me when I seen other people who had success with keeping reptiles. And so I stayed away from them for years and years and years. And one day, 2 years ago, I saw a mouse in my house. I couldn't get rid of this mouse. And so my mom had suggested that maybe I get a snake. And the smell of the snake will, you know what I mean, the mouse won't come around the house anymore out of fear of its natural enemy. So I figured, since I live in California, these are California mice, I should get like a California king snake so the mice would recognize its mortal enemy. I went to the pet store, East Bay Vivarium in Berkeley. If you guys are anywhere near Northern California, the Bay Area, check that place out. The East Bay Vivarium in Berkeley. That place is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I keep them on speed dial to ask any kind of reptile, breeding, feeding, rat breeding questions. Man, that place is amazing. East Bay Vivarium. But anyway, I went there to go get a California king snake to keep the mice away. And I fell in love with this guy. Obviously, he's not from California. He's an African royal pastel ball python. And it just started from there, man. I just fell in love with these animals. And I was terrified when I first brought him home, because of my experience as keeping animals younger, without the information, without the knowledge, without the access to the internet, without the access to all the amazing people right now that are posting YouTube channels and helping all of us keepers out, you know what I mean, keep these animals safe and healthy and thriving and stuff like that. You know, like, I was afraid I wasn't gonna do a good job, but I got everything that was necessary. Started watching all the channels, learning from people, and you know what I mean, lo and behold, obviously I got this guy when he was like the size of a little pencil. Now he's thriving, he's huge, and he's a massive eater. This guy does not miss a meal. So what happened for me was I really wanted to get into these snakes, and I had a friend who was breeding ball pythons at the time, and decided that he couldn't do it anymore. He had went through a major surgery, and he's like, hey, do you want to take over my collection? I was like, yeah, I want more snakes. I want more snakes. So this guy gave me an ARS rack, a sea serpents rack, and a bunch of ball pythons. And so right away I just started having to learn, man. And so I started following all my heroes that are now my heroes on YouTube, and learning and asking questions. And me personally, I stay away from the Facebook groups to ask questions, because every time I would ask a question in a Facebook group, I would feel I would get more bashed and criticized than I would helped. That's just my opinion with the Facebook groups. But so I started just, you know what I mean, a lot of the guys on YouTube like Garrett Hartle, Brian Grundy. Like Brian Grundy literally puts his phone number on all of his posts and asks people to call him with any kind of questions, man. And I started doing that and talking to other breeders and figuring out what's going on. And had my first successful clutch. They're all born in April. I had 10 amazing babies. Only one came out unhealthy and had to be put down. And I called other breeders before I made that decision and all that, and let them know what's going on with the animal, not just making shit up on my own. Yeah, and then I've also got a few boas. Right now, I think I have 30 something snakes. I got some boas. I rescued a couple boas. I have one amazing, beautiful dwarf boa, which I got from a girl who she was afraid to handle, because after 4 or 5 years, the snake became very aggressive. I brought it home, made some adjustments to its habitat and its enclosure that I learned from watching some of them, you know what I mean, some guys like Garrett Hartle, about making sure the snake's got plenty of hide and feels secure and all that kind of stuff. And now that snake is as gentle as a kitten. And I'm also getting into the retics. I just fell in love with the personality and the colors and the interactions of the retics. I've been keeping retics for about a year. I've got three reticulated pythons, one mainland, actually 2 mainland, a golden child, and I have a super dwarf that I got from a Garrett Hartle, RT Reptiles, mainly because I love the personality and keeping the retics, but they get pretty big and they could be a handful. So anyway, that's kind of my story. That's what's going on with me and my animals, and I look forward to spending more time on YouTube and seeing what I can learn from everybody else and contribute to these animals and all of us as breeders, keepers, and hobbyists in the future. Thank you very much.